Yo, welcome to Out of Time. I'm Peanut. This is Trouble T. Roy.
How's it
And
going?
today we're going to be rolling down the street, not smoking Indo, talking about Jinn and Giants.
Yeah. So this is a little off track for me. So I don't really watch or learn about a lot of that stuff unless it's coincidental to learning history. So I'm a little out of my field here. So
I like this.
This is fun.
I like this. This is a topic that I was really excited to talk about. What was it, 2 weeks ago we were talking about doing this?
Yeah.
And I didn't want to come in here on some like we knew exactly what's going on, because basically this is all theory.
Mm-hmm.
There's no factual proof to this, except for not except for, but there is things that make people think there is proof to it, and we're gonna go over it today. Let's have a little fun.
Yeah, absolutely,
and let's talk some Jinn and Giants, man.
Yep, Jinn and Giants.
We're gonna start off with you, Troy, because I know you know about the Jinn.
Yeah. So I'm not an Islamic scholar, but I've read the Quran several times. I've listened to it. Unfortunately, the shame to say, but I've listened to it on audiobook beginning to end at least 4 or 5 times
in Arab.
I know some Arabic phrases, but I don't speak Arabic. It's out of my depth.
But the story of the Jinn and Giants, this is we're talking.
But when you were talking about it, I immediately started thinking, the song.
Yeah, history of mankind is one of those. It's a fill in the blank thing, and a lot of historians nowadays think they have it figured out. But then every once in a while, you get something that doesn't make sense, something that doesn't fit the puzzle piece. So these things that we're going to be talking about are going to be those puzzle pieces that are blurred and don't necessarily fit the diagram of what historians think
it's
history
like a
is.
lot of legends. There is some basis and truth possibly to them.
Yeah, absolutely. To be honest with you, the Legends of Giants goes back to biblical terms or biblical pages, and
oh yeah,
if you think about it, you look at the past time with dinosaurs and these thunder lizards and these gigantic bears and gigantic this, that, and why wouldn't humans also be gigantic?
It brought to mind a documentary I watched about a particular, I forget if it was the Jurassic or I don't know all those time periods
right
like I should.
No, who cares?
But at that time, and especially like the great ground sloths and the woolly mammoths and these enormous mammals.
Yeah.
The oxygen content.
That's what I was just going to get to.
Really much higher. So it could support a body that was bigger.
Correct. And that's exactly what I was going to get to. During the Ice Age, the oxygen levels on Earth were completely different than what they are right now.
Yeah.
So everything grew bigger. Everything basically was a bigger form of what it is now.
Megafauna, they call it.
Everything was bigger. I'm talking like rats were bigger. Cats were bigger.
Texas got hold of everything.
You know what? The reason why I love talking about stuff like this is because there's really no right or wrong answer, right?
Yeah.
We're just talking about theories. We're talking about what might have been, what could have been.
But that's all facts. Let's want to talk about giants.
Okay.
Like what's interesting? Because all right, so where this leads to giants.
Yeah.
So the legends of giants. I mean, I keep hearing stuff about, like in the American Southwest, they're finding these
giant bones, giant footprints, giant everything. So if you look into like the local legends of I think it's in Nevada, Death Valley or whatever, Devil's Tower, which looks like a stump to a tree, like a gigantic tree.
Oh yeah, I've been out
cut down
that area.
Yeah, I'll put it up for you guys to see. Like, hold on,
it's a different area of the country. So it's unlike other areas.
Absolutely, and
it's worth visiting.
Yes. So
in the summer,
in the summer when it's hot,
it's hot, and the people that live there would tell you that too.
Yeah, absolutely.
The only other place I've been where somebody said that, like, if you're going to come back and visit during the summer because the winters here suck.
Oh yeah,
was New Hampshire.
Oh, I can imagine. I
was like, okay.
New Hampshire is basically East Canada.
I guess so. Yeah,
you know what I mean.
But
it's up there.
But yeah, I've been to Quebec. Quebec's beautiful.
Yeah, Quebec's beautiful. Toronto's beautiful sometimes.
Mm.
Depends on where you go there, though.
Yeah, I hear Montreal's something to see too.
Montreal is nice. So let's start with the Jinn. Why don't you give us a little something about the Jinn?
So the Jinn, the Quran refers to the Jinn as, this message is to be for man and jinn, and jinn, and that's the beginning for a lot of the surahs, basically the books,
right?
So to speak, of the Quran,
right?
And and this is the word of Allah for man and jinn,
correct?
And so it basically puts jinn and men on the same level,
right?
Although jinn are described as smokeless fire. So it doesn't really give a whole lot more detail than that, other than they can do things on our plane there's some crossover that goes on.
Gotcha.
And so it kind of explains like ghosts and things like that. And, and that's one of the things that really appealed to me and got me very interested in Islam.
Yeah.
Because I had questions about spiritual, deeper, like how does this work? And Christianity, I'm not knocking Christianity. Some of my fondest memories, are I'm not knocking it, or I'm not espousing any particular religion. We'll put it that way.
Right. We don't want to get demonetized before we have that chat.
No, but I honestly feel that way. Like whatever works for you. So, right. But I had questions that I wasn't getting answered. And so I started looking into these things, and the whole thing about jinn really just kind of grabbed me. Like, yeah, there is other stuff out there.
Right.
And this kind of explains it. And it's one of the only like major religions, Abrahamic religions that talks about God, Allah. Jesus is mentioned in the Quran, I think, 30 some odd times
as a prophet.
Yeah, he's a prophet, and it talks about his crucifixion and all that stuff.
Right.
It interprets it differently.
Right.
But he's a character. Matter of fact, one of the local mosques is Jesus, the son of Mary.
Oh yeah, we drove by.
Yeah, Masjid.
Yeah,
it's like okay, all right, whatever. I get it.
Right.
But the long and short of it is the jinn are made of smokeless fire.
Smokeless fire.
And like King Solomon could talk to him. Let's see. He was also Solomon was able to communicate with animals and ants. So they're one of the sins.
Wait, Solomon used to talk to ants?
Yeah.
So he was the first Ant-Man?
Like no, he was like Dr. Doolittle, he could do everything. But there's an Islamic sin they call shirk.
Yeah.
Which is as accepting of partners with God. So this is where, the Quran and the Bible too, it doesn't say that there aren't other gods.
Right.
What it says is there is no God but Allah.
Right. So it's like what is it, Elohims? And so my question to you is, so what do you think the jinn were? Like, were they angels? Were they?
I think that this is my personal interpretation, and I could be completely wrong. But I think that there basically may be some other dimension
100%.
That's just as real as ours, right, that we have not been able to quantify. So I'm a big believer in quantifying things. So I have a lot of thoughts about spiritual stuff, but I still disbelieve until I get proof.
Gotcha.
I need proof.
Gotcha. And they used to,
even though I know it's probably true,
right?
I'm not buying it wholesale until I get proof.
Right. You have to see it to believe it.
Yeah. And I think it's just a matter of time before we're able to start quantifying these things. I'll probably be long dead by that point. But,
maybe
it's like radio waves.
Do you see the radio waves? No, but they're still there.
Exactly.
So my theory is maybe we've already seen these jinn. Maybe we're seeing these jinn.
Yeah.
So when this is where we start twirling down the rabbit hole, right, as we hit off the roots.
So it explains a lot of things because like people, there's all kinds of different jinn, and they talk about the colors that they could be, and they have different motivations, and some of them can be sinister and like, whispering in your ear.
You know what that sounds like, right?
Yeah. So it's
you know what that sounds like,
hey,
right?
you could hit him in the head with a hammer. It's like, what the hell?
Yeah, like
Like
physical.
who the hell? What? Who would ever? No, I don't even want to think like that. Like no.
So
that's what I'm saying. Like it's those intrusive thoughts are attributed to Jinn.
Yeah, that's crazy. So I'm with you on this, and I think me and you at one point where there's a fork in the road, and I go towards aliens.
Okay,
you know what I mean. So
that's where you and I are going to part.
We're going to part. We're going to part.
I've watched and my beloved brother, he wants to believe he's Fox Mulder.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing: if we're talking about Jinn, smokeless fire, and if you see a bright light that has no smoke coming from it in the sky, what would you call that?
Well, when it talks about the Jinn like that in the Quran, it's talking about their physical form. So how they appear.
So very shiny,
smokeless fire. So
I'm trying to get him to say aliens.
No, but think of it this way: it is when a lot of people do DMT trips and things like this. It's
which we don't endorse.
No. You don't need to do stuff like that.
No. Unless you share.
But to each their own.
Right.
So, but the thing being is you can access these beings and see them as they are.
Right.
And they can interact with you very briefly. And over there, they're on that other dimension. Time is not the same.
Right. Time is there's some in some cases probably no time.
Yeah, like 30 seconds is 4 hours over there.
Yeah, absolutely.
But these are all theories. These are all, and I'm sorry if I'm getting off on my soapbox here.
It's all good. That's the whole point of this show. There's no right or wrong answer to this stuff, especially when I say aliens.
What? But as far as one of the things that I found out in talking with my brother and learning more about, because I'll give anything a listen. You got to prove it to me,
right?
But if you can bring facts that resonate with me, then I'm like, okay,
right.
An intelligent mind can change itself.
Correct. Yeah, that's the way it's supposed to be. You should be able to rewrite your program if the program ain't programming. If you know what I'm saying.
That's the thing that I always try to make myself do.
I got you. I'm with you.
But one of the things I found really cool is they had psychics that were contacting extraterrestrials.
I seen that.
And then you could see them show up.
Which is
and
crazy.
It's like,
I don't know if that's something you want to do.
I feel about that. Like,
I see that.
Is that proof? It's on the borderline. I saw something.
Look, if they're summoning these things, there's something to it. I just don't think we know what we're playing with. So, like when we talk about like Jinn, or when we talk about like angels, or when we talk about like aliens and demons, I feel like those are things that the human mind itself, us in a human form, can't comprehend what's going on a fourth dimensional plane,
right?
If that makes any sense. Like we cannot understand that because our brains aren't made to understand that.
Well, it's like when people come back from like a out of body experience, or they come back from NDE, especially like near death experience, which can be very much like an out of body experience. The two are almost synonymous, except that the NDE, they go further, like they're actually trying to pass through to the other side,
right?
But long and short of it is they kind of describe the whole experience very much the same across the planet.
Yeah.
And I think what's happening is that they may be crossing into another dimension, whether we call it heaven or whatever.
Right.
And then you get into the whole question of reincarnation.
Yeah. I don't want to come back. I don't want to come back, man.
But I got to tell you though, if you're going to be alive in a meat sack, and you're going to be walking around on this planet,
right?
We are in one of the best countries to do it in.
Yeah, you know what?
Even the poor people here live better than most of the rest of the planet.
100%.
But I know a lot of people, and you do too, that genuinely have a hard time making it in life.
Yeah, for sure.
They're poor,
Right.
and it's a struggle.
Imagine you get to pick where you want to go. Like right before reincarnation, they're like, "All right, so what do you
Yeah.
want to do?" And I was like, out of all things to be, I was like, "I want to be a maintenance guy." And they're like, "Granted."
But no,
You know what I'm
but
saying?
think about it this way. If reincarnation is true,
Right.
then one of the objects of each life is to learn lessons.
Right.
So you need to know what it's like to starve to death. You need to know what it's like to be in love. You need to know
Right.
what it's like to have children. You need to know what it's like to have a disease
Correct.
or suffer from X, Y, and Z. And you need to have the full range of human experience.
So you think it's all about like, yeah, you know what? That does make sense.
Those
Like,
books during the 80s, it's build your own adventure.
oh yeah, choose your own adventure.
Yeah, choose your own adventure.
I used to love those books.
Yeah, so it's a lot kind of like that. So, that theory would kind of say if you're poor or you had a hard life or you were abused or whatever,
Right.
you needed to learn some of those horrific, painful lessons because your soul had to be able to have understanding and compassion for everyone else that suffered through that.
Yeah, I get that. I get that.
We're all connected. We're all part of the same thing.
What if we're all the same person?
Well, in essence, well,
you know what I'm saying?
So Nirvana,
the same person.
you like that song?
Yeah.
Nirvana, that's what that is basically the giving up of yourself to rejoin the whole.
That's crazy. So we've discussed the Jinn.
Mhm.
I think the Jinn, the Giants, the angels, the demons,
Yeah.
the
And
aliens,
the Nephilim.
the Nephilim,
Yeah.
which is what I'm going to get into next.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's all a part of the same story being told from a different perspective, I guess. Would that make sense? So everything in the past was bigger than what it was supposed to be. And we're not going to get crazy into the Book of Enoch. I advise anyone out there look into the Book of Enoch.
Yeah. I know there's like some like really old, like, I guess I'm not a biblical scholar at all, but
well, there's the Book of Giants too.
Is there?
Yeah, which is not canon.
Well, that's just it. There's a lot of stuff that's not canon with no matter what you got.
Correct.
Yeah.
But like when we talk about like giants, everything being bigger back in the days, and these are angels that came down to for a lack of a better terms, fornicate with human wives.
So I just watched the thing because I used to get into like the angels and the demons and that kind of stuff. At least like passing kind of interest in it.
Right.
Like who are the big players?
Yeah.
And I think I just watched a short on this the other night that a third of the angels were cast out of heaven.
Well, here's how this, and I'm going to paraphrase the story. Okay. So these angels were basically assigned to watch over us, hence being called the Watchers. So
hold on, what is this from?
This is from the Book of Enoch. So
interesting. Okay, so, that strikes. Keep going.
Okay, so the story's crazy, and if I get anything wrong, you can correct me down in the comments. Like I said, I'm just trying to breeze through this and just try to give you an idea of what I'm talking about. But these angels were tasked to watch early humans to make sure we were okay.
Yeah, to make sure we prospered. Yeah,
then we
were God in God's likeness.
Right. Then one of them caught on to it. I forget the name of the angel mentioned inside the book, but one of them looked at some girl and was like, "Okay, I'm good." Yeah, I'm gonna hit that. You know what I'm saying? So what he did was he made a pact with the other angels that were supposed to be watchers, and they made an oath to if I'm gonna do this, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this together.
Yeah, everybody's gonna participate.
Everybody's gonna participate.
Everybody gets to stab Caesar.
Yeah. So that's where the story starts. And what happens is when they take human wives amongst themselves, and they fornicate, obviously, which is weird because when you hear angels, you think of angels being spiritual beings and not physical beings.
Well, there's different levels of angels.
Right.
So, like the cherubs, you think of them as these little, Renaissance little babies with
No,
they are terrifying.
their wheels,
I believe
eyeballs,
that, like, you can't. I think that's the one, like, you can't even look at them.
No, they're terrifying, especially
Like,
the
they
way they
have no
describe them.
face.
But you got to
Yeah.
imagine they're those might be the dimensional beings. But when
Right.
you hear the Book of Enoch and you see that these physical angels
Yeah.
were down on earth, and on top of that, after they started fornicating and
And then
having
they have the
babies,
Nephilim,
they had the Nephilim baby
and
babies.
those are the 10-foot tall, and
That's where we get into the giants,
like
my friend.
Goliath.
Correct. Well, Goliath was later, way later on down the line.
Well,
Before Goliath, we were like grasshoppers to these giants.
yeah.
So that's how big they used. Well, speaking,
so they were like Lord of the Rings giants.
they were giants.
Okay.
There were giants, and if, for those of you that read the Bible, there's a little sentence in there talking about Enoch and talking about the fallen angels and talking about the giants, but it never really goes or delves deeper into that story. But if you read the Book of Enoch, everything fills in. It's one of my favorite books that is not canon. It's not canon because a couple people were like, let's take that one out.
Well, one of the things that jumps to mind is I've read a lot of Buddhist stuff long time ago.
Right.
And, Buddha and some of the other writers, they talk about Buddha's trips.
Yeah.
Like, he would go visit basically other planets, other dimensions.
Oh, shit.
I think he described, 64 different ones. And one of which was beings that have no form. So it was just thought.
Just floating thought.
And it existed as a sentience.
Yeah, imagine if I was floating thought, it'd be nothing but fart jokes. I'm like, oh.
It's like, I can't even make the fart noise. I don't have a body.
You smell that? Just floating around fucking with people. But yeah,
but maybe some of these angels and stuff like that, they may be beings from those whatever realm of existence. that's just what they are.
That's in the story. The story, like what trips me out the most about these stories that we hear is there's no way there's giants, is what I'm thinking. But then there's things that kind of there's things out there where you're like, oh, that's weird. So I think it's in Thailand or some. There's this cave and there's this. It looks like a petrified snake, and it's gigantic.
Okay,
it has scales. It has, and I'll magically put it up here so you guys can see it.
Okay,
but it looks like a giant snake. And then you look at footprints or swords that they find, or scoops of or handprints on walls that are gigantic.
Yeah.
There's proof out there, but it's not really necessarily accepted, I guess.
But the other thing too is, a one-off, handprint on a wall.
Oh, there's more than one. Here, I'll siphon through them as
okay.
This is going to be post-production.
There needs to be like intact skeletons found.
Yeah.
There needs to be some structures, some tools, something that
what if
it would be to their scale that you wouldn't commonly just run across,
which is tough.
Evidence of their civilization.
I can't say I've ever seen a full, like, you see a lot of it on the internet, and a lot of it's fake, a lot of it's AI, a lot of it's doctored.
Exactly.
But
yeah, every time I've gone down that rabbit hole, I'm like,
no, you can tell when they're fake too. They don't even try. There's no shadow.
Like, no.
my son will watch that. I'm like, did you know this? I'm like, dude, don't believe all that shit.
Yeah,
but
I remember Bat Boy. He was on the cover of
But there's stuff out there. There is artifacts. There's things out there that proves a giant world back in the days. And I mean, who's to say? And we're talking maybe millions of years, thousands of years.
Like, several thousand individuals? Or are we talking a civilization?
We're talking the worldwide civilization is what I'm thinking. And theories.
All right.
Theories.
Okay.
I'm talking a worldwide civilization. At one point, the atmosphere was different. Everything grew big.
And that's probably possible because, I mean, you think of all the dinosaurs that ever lived.
Uh-huh.
I mean, those are animals. They're just they're eating and reproducing, and they're eating and they're reproducing.
Yep. And there was plenty for them to eat.
Yeah. So I'm sure there were a lot of dinosaurs that died. So,
100%.
And how many do we actually find? Like,
yeah,
it's not that common.
It's hard to find.
So yeah, maybe.
It's hard to find. And who's to say? Here's where we just tumbled deeper into the rabbit hole. Who's to say we haven't found it, but it's been suppressed? Stories have been reverberating for the past century. You know what I mean?
Well, the thing is when you start getting into government conspiracy theories that they're suppressing knowledge.
Yeah.
You know, I was friends with this guy. He was a high-level prosecutor in a populous area.
Right.
And he had been doing it for 20 plus years. Very intelligent man. And we were talking about something. And somebody said something along the lines of government conspiracy. And he said, I'll tell you, I've been working for the federal government for 20 plus years. And I can tell you, they can't pour piss out of a boot. So for this vast conspiracy to actually be fomented on the public, like no.
Well, no. So somewhere between that story and another story is the truth. So I'm not saying this is true. I'm not one of those tin hat guys. I'm not one of those.
Well, but they're not all kooks. I mean, again, it's like any legend. There's a kernel of truth in there.
There's something in there.
Yeah.
And it's in the Bible. It's in the Quran with the jinn. It's in history. It's in legends. It's in lore. It's in Native American Indian stories passed down through generations. There's a story, and I forget the name of the tribe, so forgive me. If you know the name of the tribe, comment below.
We can look this up.
Yeah, or you know what? Instead of that, I'm just gonna
look it up. And go,
I'm gonna put it up on post production. So there's a tribe that they were passing down story after story to generation after generation about them having this war with these giants that used to eat them. So literally, they got down to
I've heard this.
They got down to the last giant living in a cave, and they sealed the cave. They started burning the cave. They suffocate this giant.
Oh, so they did an Iwo Jima to him. They just sealed him into the bunker.
They're like, you're not eating our people anymore. And I don't know the name of it. I'll look it up. I'll do it in post production, and I'll do like a little picture here and there. But like the story of giants is something that honestly we can't ignore it. Like it's been passed down through so many different texts and so many different stories, and that's how they used to the Native Americans, they didn't write books. They were nomads.
No,
so what they would do,
it was an oral tradition.
They would orally tell the story around fires to warn their younger generations about the situations that they may face.
Right.
They probably thought one of these days we're gonna bump into another giant.
See, but then
this is how you kill them.
Yeah, hey,
this is how you do it.
Yep. Hamstring them.
And not only that, like, so you look at these paintings, of ancient paintings of humans and dinosaurs all in the same painting. They're literally riding dinosaurs in these paintings. And
yeah, but I don't think those are dinosaurs.
I don't know, man.
I mean, but the thing is like we're only looking at just like a one-dimensional, like one unicolored thing on a wall.
True.
And interpreting that and saying, "Oh, that's a dinosaur."
I mean,
it could have been. Who knows? They could have had like I don't know, like the orcs in Lord of the Rings are riding wolves. I mean, who knows?
I'm gonna put
I believe
the
that before I believe it was dinosaurs. They're millions of years apart.
They're riding a hippopotamus.
Yeah. Exactly. Like I believe that before I believe it was a dinosaur.
I'm gonna put the picture up so that you guys could be the judge of it.
Okay.
I'm telling you, like the reason why I'm so fascinated with the story of Jinn Giants is because I feel like this is a story that science and historical people are unwilling to like at least consider.
And you're very, very right about that, because even I'm not a professional historian, but I've taken
yes, you are, you motherfucker.
No, but I've taken some higher level courses.
Yes, you have.
I understand what it means to do proper research.
Right.
So one of the things is, whenever you see the paradigm shift in the current avant garde, like the leading edge, professional